Hi, everybody. I want to welcome you to our seminar, Retouch Your Headshot with Adobe Photoshop and generative AI tools. And today, the workshop is going to be a little bit different than others because you have your own headshots already and you brought it here. I'm going to show you some tools how to do it with headshots that I have. And then you're going to sit here and work, and I'm going to work around and help you to adjust your headshots and make it kind of more professional so you can start sending it to other places. You'll have a digital copy of it, and you can start repairing and creating some stuff with your headshots. So before we start, and I'm going to ask you some questions in a minute, of course. A little bit about me. I am an educator, subject matter expert writer for the Adobe testing artist and designer. I teach here for, I think it's almost 15 years already. And I teach the Adobe application, especially the one for print, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, generative AI, Adobe Express, and some other tools that we're doing special seminars with it. So a little bit about me. Again, you can see here in the presentation, everything about me, which is not as important at the moment, but if you feel like reading it later, that's wonderful. And you also can follow me and see my videos on Behance. I used to live stream on Behance for the last 3-4 years. They are not letting us live stream now for educators anymore. So I have the videos and you can still look at them and see some explanation and things like this. So before we start, I'm just going to ask you a question. How many of you used Photoshop before? Don't be shy. You can just raise your hand or say yes, no, and in between. And if you're not as comfortable with Photoshop, we're going to look at the UI in the beginning to make sure everybody is comfortable with it. So, yes, I can see like few people comfortable with Photoshop, few people so. It's okay. We're going to start from the beginning. We're not going to do a class about let's start with Photoshop, but I'm going to go into the UI and show you the retouching tools and how do I start if I needed to know what are the tools in the UI. So this is the session abstract that I kind of like composed here. And like I said before, we're not going to have like a 2 hours of me talking. After me showing you stuff, you can sit here and do and retouch your own headshots, and I'm going to walk around and help you. So, what did I think about? So, retouching headshot is the process of enhancing a portrait while preserving the subject and natural appearance. So that's super important. And then depending what kind of headshots you have. So you guys are students and you are going to be in the professional field soon, or some of you are already there and you want to apply to a job, or some of you want a headshot on LinkedIn. And by the way, they do offer some special stuff for headshots as well in LinkedIn if you are part of LinkedIn as well. And so most of kind of like your headshots, depending on what you're going for, they're going to be kind of like professional, not severe, but regular and professional. But then there are some headshots for actors, which is a little bit different because they can be a little more kind of like fun and depending what the headshots are for. So could be headshots for commercials, could be headshots just for a dramatic role, could be headshots for just showing you how I look and I'm looking for an acting job. So you can see over here, you have an actress over here in front of you, and she's wearing different kind of shirts. So maybe this actress or actor will submit few headshots to her page to submit to a job and things like this. But when we come to a professional headshots for a job, it's a little bit different because maybe you don't need to have a few of them, maybe one or two, and depending on the background and depending on where you are actually applying for a job. Like my headshot, and I'll go in a minute to LinkedIn, it's not as professional, maybe, because I have kind of like a funny image there that I'm doing kind of like a fun face there because I just decided to put that on LinkedIn. And some people actually telling me you need to change your headshots and make it more like professional. Maybe one day. So the goal isn't to change who the person is, but to present them in their best, confident, polished, and professional way. Another thing is, depending who is taking your headshots, are you comfortable with the person or shooting your headshot? Did you feel good in the morning when you took the headshot or in the afternoon? Or you were in a bad mood and felt uncomfortable, right? So depending how what it's almost like what is the relationship between you and the photographer? Do you feel comfortable with it? You don't feel? That will show in your headshot. And I'm going to show you some weird headshots that I actually had because I don't think I take good headshots. I mean, do good photos. So when somebody is taking my photos, I'm like, are my glasses okay? Is the reflections okay? Is my face looking too fat? I don't feel so comfortable, and you can see it in the image. So well-executed headshot retouch typically involve refining the skin textures, balancing the tone, adjusting light, and enhancing eye expression, and removing temporary distractions. But you don't want to make it completely that somebody is going to say, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." Well, who is in the picture? Because I don't recognize the person in the picture. That's not you. So the picture has absolutely represent you. So what are kind of the key things that we are going to do today? So, I kind of wrote a list here of the key tools for retouching headshots in Adobe Photoshop. So, we have the spot healing tool, healing brush tool that quickly removes small blemishes, dust, stray hair, great and fast cleanup without creating a texture issue. So, this is kind of like um, quick and dirty, like you say, like you have a headshot, everything looks okay, but you have few little pimples, a few little blemishes there. You're going to take this spot healing brush and going to work with it. Next to it, you have the healing brush tool. So this one is a little bit different and lets you sample a clean skin and paint over the imperfections. So this is for areas that are larger. This is for areas that you can decide what do you want to sample and where do you want to go to. So have more control with the spark healing, and it's ideal for maintaining a natural texture. Then you have the clone stamp tool. This is used for precise correction, especially around edges, hairline, clothing, background. Basically, it's special, working great with the healing tool, also blends them together. But I will take the clone tool and use it sometime when I have to extend something and I have to redo something and clone it to another area. Let's say all of a sudden, in a shot that I'm going to show you, you don't have enough hair because the curl just flew to another place. So that's when you're going to go in and maybe use the clone tool and then take the healing brush tool and kind of heal the area around it. Of course, you have dodge and burn tool. This is the most professional way to sculpt light and refine facial structure, enhances the lights, softens shadows, and even out a skin and blurring. There is an advanced way, so maybe we're not going to get into it today. It is more for beauty retouching, and it is frequency separation. I wrote that it's advanced. It's not so hard, and I have a video for you in the end that you can see and see how you can start doing it. But separate texture from colors and tone allows you to smooth uneven tones while keeping pores intact. Best use subtly to avoid plastic skin look. You have liquefy that correct minor shape distortions, flyaway hair, maybe wrinkle, maybe posture. So use lightly to avoid altering identity, because if you use that a little bit too much, it is too much and you can see it. You have select, subject, and masking that helps you isolate a person from the background, useful for background cleanup or color adjustment. We're going to look at the camera raw filter, global adjustment for exposure, contrast, clarity, texture, and grading. Great for enhancing eyes, skin tone, and overall polish. And you have adjustment layers, non-destructive, that you can go to curves and levels and color balance, sorry, and kind of refine the skin and the brightness of the eye and create cohesive look. Do we have other tools that we can use? Within Photoshop, you have the ability now to do stuff with AI that we're going to make it a lot better and then faster when you start correcting some stuff. So we're going to take a look also at some of the AI tools. So you have generative fill, removes distractions in the background, extends or clean up clothing, fixes stray hair or missing areas around the edge of the headshot. You have generative expand that you can expand the area. And this is great if you do a headshot and all of a sudden you're not in the middle and it doesn't look so great. So you can clean some stuff and then extend the image and then make it look a little bit better. You have retouch presets, Firefly in Photoshop and Lightroom. So AI powered skin smoothing, eye enhancement, and lightening adjustment. Style adjustment that you can apply consistency all over in the same headshots that you have. And then you can replace the background in a very easy way right now. You can swap the background if needed and do different kind of background for a regular headshot that you have. So here I just kind of like ended up doing some screenshots for you guys, how they still work together and a typical workflow might look like. You can clean up the skin by working with the healing tools. You can even it out with the dodge, burn, and maybe frequency separation, enhance eyes, lips, and expressions, fix edges of clothing, that's generative AI or cloning, and adjust lighting and replace or refine background. So over here, do you see this is a screenshot that taken from Photoshop, and you can see, I call it the J gallery. It's actually the retouching tools gallery, some of them. And you have the spot healing brush tool, the remove tool, that's a new tool, healing brush tool, patch tool, content aware move tool, which probably I'm not going to use it with a portrait, and the red eye tool. You're not going to have it because most of the cameras that you have right now do not shoot with red eye, so we're going to probably skip that. Then you have the blur, sharpen, and smudge tool, the dodge tool, the burn tool, and the sponge tool. I also included here important links and resources, and that's very, very important. Photoshop Training Channel has so many videos on retouching and portrait retouching. Photoshop Cafe also has a lot of videos about retouching, the new generative AI tool. But if you want to get into beauty retouching later, you're going to retouch today your own headshot and you say, whoa, you know what? I kind of want to get into it, dip into beauty retouching or dip into commercial retouching. I invite you to go into Lisa Carney's website, and she has different kind of videos. Some of them are free, some of them are classes, and then she's an expert in beauty retouching. I also including an overview and user guide for Adobe Firefly in case you never heard about it and you want to go and look into it. I'm using my own files right now. So we're going to do the class in two ways. I'm going to open my files and look at the headshots that I have. Most of them, some of them are retouched already. Some of them are not retouched. So if you want to take my files and use them just for practice, you are invited to scan the QR code, and then you have the presentation that I just gave you right now and the files that I'm using. So give you a minute, take a look at the QR code and see if you want to download it. Most likely that you want to use your own images, because the seminar is about creating and retouching your own headshots to go and send them later somewhere else. Any questions so far before we move on? Yes, you do have to. Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah. The question is, do we have to have the latest Photoshop? You can have Photoshop 2025, Photoshop 2026. I'm actually using today the beta version. It is a public beta. I like to use that because I see all the new stuff and you can download it also, and I can show you where. So we all kind of have to open Photoshop first. And then I'm going to get out of this presentation in a second and look to see if you guys are opening already. And we're going to start. Anytime you need to stop me, I'm going to be as slow as I can. You can giggle, you can talk, you can look at your friends' headshots next to you. It is kind of like a friendly seminar. Nothing is wrong, because if you don't like the result, it is okay too. And you'll see some results that I did. I don't like it and I'm not going to use it. And some of my photos that I took are not good. So the idea is take good photos first. Take something that you like first, and then go in and retouch the stuff that you have. So I'm going to go back here. This is kind of like the seminar that you have today. And then I'm going to get out of the seminar, escape, right? I mean, get out of not the seminar. I'm going to get out of my presentation right now, and I'm going to Photoshop. So this is Photoshop over here. And like I told you before, I have the public beta over here because I choose to work with it. But if you don't have the public beta, it is okay. And if I show you something that you don't have, it's probably in the public beta, but you probably have most of the tools that I have and that I am using right now. Yes. Any question? How do you download the public beta? I'm going to go to my Creative Cloud, and this is my Creative Cloud over here. And all the way up, you can see all apps, and then they divide it into sections, but you have the beta apps over here. And this is the beta apps, and the latest beta is I already downloaded it, and it tests features and fixes under development in the beta build. So basically, it's a public beta. You can click here. I opened it. I mean, I installed it already, so I have open, and you're gonna see the word install. Like After Effects, I did not install the public beta. So you see, it let me install. Audition, I didn't do it. It let me install. And then Character Animator, I didn't install it yet. But Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign, I'm working with the beta all the time. So I like to install it and have it. And every now and then, when you're going to open the beta, they will tell you there's a new update. You close it, and then you're going to go back and reopen it. So with that said, I'm going to click on Photoshop Beta. Looks exactly like the regular Photoshop with extra stuff that you have. So what do we have in this one? If I'm going all the way up to the upper right corner and clicking on the gift icon, it tells me what's new in this one is new shape for dynamic text. We're not going to do any text today. Maybe we're going to write just name. So it's not something that you need to do, but this is the one that you have in the public beta. The rest, you have it in your regular software that you installed. So I am going to go back here and wait for a second and see if everybody, just raise your hand if you have Photoshop open in front of you. I'm going to wait. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you just open that and kind of wait. So let's ask another question before we start. And this is for the people that never used Photoshop before. You can see here the welcome screen. You can see all the way in the upper right corner, it's the gift that I call it. It's what's new. And all the way to the left, you see home, learn, your file, which is my file. So if I click on it, you see my Adobe Creative Cloud files that I save to the cloud, people that share with me, maybe template, maybe even Google Photos, and history generation. This is for stuff that I did in Adobe Firefly, and I have the history generation. But what we're going to do, we're all going to click on the upper left corner. You see the word PS. Mine is with a white background because it's the beta. I'm going to click on it to get inside the regular screen. For those of you who never use Photoshop, you're going to see here the original workspace, and we're going to stay in it. So this is the original workspace that you have. This is the default workspace. On the left side, you're going to see the toolbar. And on the right side, you're going to see the panels. You also have an option bar all the way up. And this is the area that you're going to see the tools that you're using. It's going to tell you how to use it and where to click. And of course, we have the menu bar. We're not going to do a new workspace right now. All what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way up to my toolbar, and you see a tiny, tiny arrows over there, two arrows, and I'm going to click to do it to two columns. You don't have to do it if you're not comfortable. I am more comfortable to look at that, so I'm looking at my toolbar. On the right side, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to click on the two arrows to collapse to icons. And now I can see my workspace. I have the AI auto stuff that I have over here. So if I'm going to click over here, no document is found over here. Open a document and get analysis recommendation based on your image. This is something new. We're not going to get into it right now. You have actions, which has a lot of new stuff in it. We're not going to get into it. You have the history panel. But all the way over here, you do have the color panel, the swatches, the gradient, and the pattern. Then you have the properties, adjustment, the libraries. I'm just going to go and bring it over. Layers, channels, and path. So this is the regular workspace. If you are going to do a lot of enhancement in photography, I highly recommend to go to Photo Window, Workspace, and go to the Photography Workspace. And look where you have right now in the Photography Workspace. Right away, my toolbar went back to one column. I'm just going to go, it's the same tools. And then I'm going to collapse two icons and stretch it a little bit so I can see the panels that I have. What I have over here is the histogram, a navigator to zoom in and out, adjustment. I have the Creative Cloud libraries, layers, channels, and path. I have the history panel. I have actions if I want to do stuff with it, the properties, and the clone stamp tool panel if you want to go and work with it. What I don't have over here that I might maybe use is the brush panel. So I can go into Window and then Workspace, and I can try to go to the painting. And then if I go to painting, you can see I used that before. So I'm going to go to Workspace and reset the painting workspace. And look at that over here. Again, I'm going to make the toolbar into two columns, and I'm going to see what's going on over here and collapse. I like to collapse everything. and see what I have here. I have swatches panel, navigator, brush, layers, channels, and path. And I have the libraries, tool preset, clone tool, brush, and settings. So it's depending what's comfortable for you and what you want to work with. So if I want to add to this workspace more stuff, all what I have to do is go to Window, and then in Window, I can go in and add some more stuff. So I can go back here and maybe go back here and go in and add the styles or the shapes. And I can also go and rearrange the stuff. So it's really up to you which workspace you are going to use. For today, we are going to go to Workspace and we're going to go to Essential Default. And this is the essential default like I had before. If I want to add brushes into it, I am going to go to Window and add the brushes. So all the other panels are over there. And of course, you can save your own workspace. So now, let's start. How do we bring an image like you guys have? You all have your headshots that somebody gave you. I'm going to go in and you can do it in two ways. One way you can go to Browse in Bridge. That's another software, another installment. And if I go to Browse in Bridge, it will take a second. And then I'm looking at that, and Bridge is actually launching right now. And this is a browser for you. Of course, I didn't open it today, so it's allowing me, asking me, and look what I have over here. It is taking a look into your desktop and all the files that you have. So I'm going to go and see over here. This is what I have. This is what I have on my computer. This is what I have on my desktop. And on my desktop, I have a lot of files that I have. I also have different kind of workspaces over here. So I'm going to go to the essential workspace, which is the simple one that I have. And then I'm looking to see where are the files that I gave you. So you're going to see them if you download it. That could be on your desktop. I have it somewhere else. So I'm going to go to my file that says Hana Messer over here. And inside the area that I do have my document. And now I'm going to go into my document over here. And again, I'm going to have to go to my name, double click on that, and then go to my Adobe classes. In real life, it would have been a lot easier if I ended up putting it on the desktop now for you guys. But you can see here I have USC seminars, and then I'm going to zoom into it. So you can see all the way down here, and I have USC seminars. I'm going to double click on it. And then I have different kind of USC seminars over here. USC Seminar 2025, but we are in 2026. I'm going to double click on it, and I have Retouch Your Headshots. So I should have put it already right away in my bridge over here in my favorite. And now look what happens. I do see my presentation, but then you have Retouch Your Headshot 2026 folder. This is actually the folder you guys downloaded with my QR code. I'm going to double click. Again, I have the different, I don't know why I have so many. I can go into some of them and actually I can decide that I'm going to go back here. You can see, I can see the entire thing that I have, but I'm going to go back here to retouch headshots and I'm going to go in and do another favorite. So I'm going to click on here into the retouch over here, and this is what I have. Demo headshots, and look what I have here. And that's what I was telling you. This is not your headshot. This is sample headshots. The only request that I have for you, just play with it a little bit today and then take it away because it is images of people that maybe They don't want you to go in and work with them. But of course, look at that. That's a horrible headshot of mine. Look at me. I'm kind of like cross-head. The hairs are not good. And maybe I retouched it a little bit. Not so great. But now I'm going to go to another one and look at this one. This is not retouched. And look what happens over here. The light, the area, the folds. I kind of don't like these headshots. But maybe I want to use it for something that I have. What else do I have here? I'm going to hold on the shift key and select to show you what I have. And now basically I can go now to my view and then go into review mode. And in my review mode, I can see the headshot that I have to work with. I'm not going to work with all of them, but at least I can see. So maybe you have 1, 2, or 3 images that you want to work with today. Highly recommend to open Bridge as your browser and look at the images, and you can open everything directly from Bridge over here. So I can go in directly here, and let's say I'm going to go in and I have one image here. I'm going to right click on it. I'm in Bridge right now, and look what I can do. I can move it, I can copy, I can place it, but I can say open with. And then it's telling you what to open it with. I'm going to open it with Photoshop Beta right now. And I'm going to zoom into it. Terrible, terrible image. And I'm going to show you what I did already, which I like or I didn't like, but I'm going to go to my layers panel. You just take a look right now. Don't do anything yet. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you, open your own headshot and we're going to start looking at stuff. So what did I do over here? Let me check it out. I'm going to go to my layers panel. If you never used Photoshop before and you are just new to it, the layers panel consists on bunch of tiny little icons all the way down. Then you have the option panel that tells you what to do with the layers. And then the visibility button that you can start turning on and off layers. So look at this image. And why am I smiling even? I look so bad. I'm going to zoom into this image and look what I have over here. I really don't like the way the image is. What do I have over here? So if I'm going to look at it, what I do for myself, I might open a new layer. I'm going to go to my brush tool. I'm going to go to very simple brush. Going to make that very small and go to my foreground color and click on red and start marking for me stuff that I want to go and work on. So this one may be going to be the spot healing brush tool. So I'm going to go in and call it spot healing. I'm not going to do the whole thing. But then inside the glasses, I do have my wrinkles. You guys are a lot younger than me. You don't have these problems. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say, I kind of want to do and say healing brush. I'm just going to heal that. And maybe I'm going to do that together with some clone. Maybe I'm going to go in and make my lips a little bit larger, not too much. So that's going to be maybe the clone tool or the liquify tool. Maybe over here, I'm going to do that a little bit. And then I'm going to go and kind of like smooth my skin a little bit. Not too much. Why? Because this is who I am. I am not 15 years old. I'm not even 40 years old. A lot older than that. I earned the wrinkles. And when I go to an interview and I'm sending something, I don't want him to think, here comes the 35-year-old with a beautiful skin and no wrinkles, right? So we don't want any surprises. I don't like the imperfections over here. I don't know what happened here. Maybe I'm going to take away some spots here. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going to leave it because, like I said before, this is me. And I'm going to double click, and call it Retouch. So this is for me for later over here. What else do I have in the layers panel? You can delete a layer, you can add a new layer, you can have a group. You have adjustment that we're going to talk about it in a second. You have masking, you have effect, and this is a new tool over here that automatically clears up layers, delete empty layers that you don't want to have it. That's a new tool that you have right now. You guys might not have it, but this is something that new that we have. So if I'm going to have just an empty layer and I don't want it, I'm going to click on it and I say delete empty layer, rename the layer, whatever I have, and then I can decide apply to the entire document or a selected layer. And then I'm going to apply, and you see it is gone. So this is something absolutely new, which is really cool. So not going to do it today, but it is here. So now, let's say I want to start kind of working, but maybe not with this image. I'm just going to check it out, what I did already. I didn't say anything, but I used a smart filter, and look what happened over here. Whoa, look at my skin, and look how kind of cute my screen. I used something called neural filters over here. Not that bad over here. And then I'm going to see what else I did. And then I'm going to go to another layer. You can see I didn't name it Bad Girl. And then I have another thing over here, which I cloned part of the shirt over here with a mask to cover the extra stuff that I didn't like. So let's look at the layers panel before we start. I'm going to look at this layer. I said layer 4, and I'm going to go in and say filter 1. I should have named it a little bit better. This is a smart filter. So when you see this icon over here, you just double click on it, and it's the first time you're going to do that, it's going to tell you you're about to go in to a smart filter or a smart object area. You can make all the fixes over here, and when you save it, it jumps over to the original. So look what I have over here. I do have the liquify, and I do have another layer. Look what I did over here. See, I did not say anything that I did not good. And then basically, I think I used a clone tool over here, which I didn't say what I did, which is not good. And over here, I did another one. I think I did the healing brush. And then I did another healing brush over here. So if I was a good retoucher, I should have selected all of it. Go to layer, group layers, and call it healing brush. But now I kind of want to see what I did on layer 1, which is I should have called it liquify. And then you can see I have two kind of liquifies. But I'm going to go to the one that I left open, and I'm going to double click on it. And it is going to tell me I'm going to open liquify over here. And now you can see all the stuff that I did over here. I opened the eyes. I did some other stuff over here. So if I'm going to do other changes, I'm going to save it one time. And I'm going to go back to my image and have it over here. Again, I'm going to click on this too. I'm going to group it, Command G, and call it healing. And I have it over here. And I have a smart filter over here. And then I have another retouch that I did something here and anything. But I can go to my background now. Let's say I'm not going to do anything else with this one. We're going to start something from scratch. I'm going to go back here and then say remove. This is the contextual panel. Let's see if you all have it. If you don't see it, go to window and turn it on. You want to have it on your screen, and you can say remove background. So I kind of like remove the background. Of course, I have the other background and the other background that I have. So I should have gone to this area and also removed the background because I did a lot of stuff already with it. So I'm zooming out. So now you can see I removed the background and it comes with a mask. This is my layer mask. If I hold on the shift key, you can turn it on and off. If I hold down the option or alt key, you can see this is the mask that I have. And look at it, it did a wonderful job. And now I can actually create another kind of background if I didn't like this background. So what kind of background would you like to do? Let's say you wanted it to be on top of a nice blue background. So I'm just going to go back here, go into the top, and then maybe I'm going to go in actually to the image that I didn't have the background over here. And now I'm going to go to my adjustment layers, and all the way down, you have solid color. Do you see that? This is a non-destructive fill layer that you can fill it with a color, and then you can see right away. You don't see it now because I did it in the wrong place. So I'm just going to put it below. And let's say I don't like this background. All what I need to do is double click and start looking to a different background. And look at that, I have a different kind of background. And of course, I can start creating stuff with different kind of background. I can even go in and bring a background. What does it mean? You can go to File and open something that you have, like maybe a nice stuff with textures. But what if I don't have? I can go all the way down to my toolbar and you see a tiny icon. And if I click on it, it says add or generate image. If I click and hold down my mouse, it says add from a device, add free stock image, or generate image. Let's first do a free stock image. It is going to go back here, and then it is going to do, and I'm going to say abstract background with paper texture. I don't know if they have something like this. Not very good here. It doesn't have something that I want. And I'm going to go in and see what they have it for me over here. So these are a little too busy or something like this. But maybe I have something like this. I kind of like that actually. Or maybe even this one. I'm going to go and add that. And look what's going to happen. Maybe it is a little too big because it's not the right aspect ratio. I'm just going to go back here and click on it. And then just going to look at that, turn on the other one, and then let's see, I want to work with this. So now I have that over here, and I'm going to go back here and maybe make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go to Edit, and before doing a free transform, I'm going to go in and make it into a smart object. And just go back here and make it a little bit bigger. And it's not the right aspect ratio. So I'm just going to go in and rotate it because I don't care. It's right now just a nice looking. And I'm just going to go back here and make it a little bit bigger. And click OK. And this is my background right now. Again, you don't have to use it, but you can go back here. I'm going to go into the image on top. You're going to tell me, oh, that's not bad, but you have to fix something with your hair. But maybe I'm going to go to my new background and go to my adjustment layer and see how it is going to look. And I went to an overlay mode. or in a soft light mode, and look what I have. And then I can play a little bit with the opacity, and all of a sudden, I do have another kind of background with textures that I took from a stock image. Another thing that I can do is, I'm going to zoom out. I can go back here and generate an image. So they give you some samples over here to generate image, but I can do the prompt over here and say abstract image with paper texture. I didn't say which color, so I might get something that I don't want, but again, I'm doing it. And in a minute, we're going to start really retouching. I'm just showing you ways, not really good what I have over here. So I'm going to go and say blue paper with texture for a photography background. So you can see over here, I'm already giving it another kind of prompt now. Something, and then in this case, I'm using the regular Firefly just to see if I can get that and I want to use it. For headshots, not bad. I have that, I have this one, and I have that. This is what I like, a real milder. And I'm going to click on that and bring it over and look what I have. So now if I do like it, I can go in and save my image, and I do have it, and I can change it to different colors and different kind of things. And you can see I have a new background over here. I'm going to resave it, file, save as, and then I'm going to go back here and say new head shot with paper texture. Again, I click on it, I might put it in a folder, and here I go. I can go and play with it, and I can continue and doing something else. I have a lot to do over here, but we're not going to worry about it. So let's go in. I'm going to close this one, and let's go and open our headshots. So yeah, okay. If you don't have your headshot, you can follow me. If you have your headshots, I can walk around and help you. Just feel free to open the files that you have, and we're going to start doing it step by step. So I'm going to go to File and Open. And let's see which one I want to go and open here. I'm going to go in to the one that says, let me see if something that I have, stuff that I don't like. No, I'm just like that. All of these are pretty good, actually. I'm just going to go in and open this one, the first one. And by the way, I have some terrible ones over here, extra retouch images. And you can see the one from the presentation. And then you have also healing brush and patch. And maybe we'll go first to this one. So I'm just going to go into this guy over here. And then let's see. No, you know what? I'm just going to go back here and go to my demo headshots. And then let me go in to the one that says to JPEG. And I'm going to open. And then let's go in and look at the stuff that we have. So again, maybe I don't like the background that I have over here. So I might go in and change the background. I might go to my layers panel and go to my empty layer and start marking the stuff that I want to go in and change. I might go back here and maybe fix a little bit her teeth over here. I'm going to see if I have any blemishes around. Maybe lighten her eyes a little bit. Her skin is pretty smooth over here, but I might change some stuff and maybe play a little bit. That's going to be a lot harder, but I might play a little bit with the area that it's kind of like too overlooking. So let's say the first thing we want to do to this one, again, with you guys, depending on the image that you have. Maybe you don't like the background. Maybe you first want to go in and remove the background. And then we're going to go back here and do some adjustments. And then we're going to go to our local healing tools. There's some others too that I didn't mention that are local healing tools. And these guys are under your images over here that you can go and play with the stuff. And then you can go in and do some stuff with puppet work. And then you can do like different kind of remove reflections. So the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to go and remove background. I'm going to try. And I'm looking at the stuff here. It is not bad. It removed my background over here and it gave me some stuff that I don't want. You can see over here, this is not something that I want because this is part of my background. And by the way I zoom in is Command plus or Control plus or Control minus. But you can also use your navigator panel, which I'm going to open it at Window and Navigator. This is great for retouching. You can zoom into the area, and with the proxy, you can go to the area that you want to go and retouch. And you can zoom back to the area that you have. I'm going to go back to View, and I'm going to say Fit on Screen. And it is on my screen right now. So the first thing I want to look at is my layers panel. What do we have over here? I removed background, so I'm going to say image with no background. I'm going to start naming my layers right now. It comes with a mask. So when you are retouching your photos, you want to use a layer mask. And the way the layer mask is working, it works with grayscale, and then white will reveal everything that you have, and black will conceal on black what you have. And then you can have a transitions of grayscale to do other stuff. If you hold on the Option key, you can see the mask over here. So I can see that I have an extra area over here that I don't want to. I can see that I have some transparencies and I have some hair all the way back here. And I might go back and work with it. While I'm on the mask, I'm going to jump over to my properties panel, bring it over, and it can tells you over here, what can you do with the mask? Or can you go into a place and say select a mask to refine the mask? We're going to look to select a mask, and that will open a new area over here. And then on the right side is the properties for select and mask. You have the global refinement that you can smooth your selection or do an edge detection. You can even do refine hair, and you can see that more hair is coming. And then you can output it back to a layer mask. And on the left side, you do have the tools to fix it. But we're going to look at the view mode. I'm going to go back here and I want to see it on white. And I'm going to see it on overlay. Look what happened in overlay. It's in overlay, and then I can play with the opacity and you can see the stuff that you have. So in the overlay that you have over here, I can go back here and then show the original or show the edges also. And then it's going to show you the edges. So I'm going to go in to a brush, regular brush, and I'm going to go to minus, and I'm basically going to go in and take away this area. And then maybe I'm going to look at another place, but for now, I'm going to click OK. And then click back on the image. So now what I have over here, I can go back and play with the stuff that I have. I might go back here to the image and then go into edit and then look at this place that says reflection removal. And then look at this, it's a preview, it's a standard and the best. And maybe it's going to see if I have any reflections on the side of the image. I'm going to go back here and try to remove it. It might not do anything for me right now, but I'm going to play with it. And then we did the remove reflections over here. It did remove the reflection. And then it took away the background. So it didn't do a good job. So I'm going to go back to my mask. And by the way, the best way is to work with masking is to work with a Wacom tablet. I didn't bring my Wacom tablet today, but you want to go into your brush that I have. I'm going to go to the right bracket and make the brush bigger, or left bracket to make the brush smaller. And all the way up, I'm going to look at the making of the brush. All the way to the left, it is a soft brush. All the way to the right, it is a hard brush. And now I'm going to go into black and basically look what black is doing. Black is concealing. So I'm going to paint on the area that I do have the reflection that I don't like, and I don't have the reflection. I might zoom in here and take the brush and make it smaller. And again, go back here and fix that because I don't want to see the background over here. I might go back here to the colors. I'm going to change and stuff. But basically what you have here, I went back here and fix the stuff that I have. I might check it out. I'm going to go into a reflection layer and just put it out. And then I put it underneath it just to see if I did a good job. And you see here, if I didn't do a good job, I'm going to go back to my brush. And now I'm doing a better job. So again, I'm drawing on the mask itself to take away the reflection. I can go into the brush and make it a lot smaller. And then no harm done and I did a bad job because I can bring back the stuff that I have. So I'm just going to go back here and in this case, just play with it a little bit to create some kind of a better look over here. And if it's too much, it's okay. But I can always click on the X key and reveal the stuff that I did. X key again and conceal the stuff that I did here. So you can see I'm playing and working on the mask to create a better look for the beginning. I'm not going to do the best job over here maybe, but I'm going to zoom out. Not bad over here. I might go back here and fix this area too because that's not looking so good. Or maybe another way to do that is actually go in and use your clone tool and just clone it. So if I don't want that, I can go back here to my image that I have, go to open a new layer, and I'm going to call it clone. And sometimes you're not going to have so much work like this one because this image wasn't kind of like perfect. And then I'm going to go to my clone tool. And I'm going to look at the size of the brush, make the brush a little bit bigger with clicking on the brackets. See if I want to have a brush that it's soft or hard edges. And then I'm going to go and say sample current layer and below, not all layers, because I don't want it to sample the background. And simply I'm going to option click on an area that I want to go to, and just going to go back here and sample it. And then option click and sample it. And you can see it's not really good, which is great. Now I'm not going to worry about it. And I might go back here and click and just do the extra area of the hand over here. So if I don't like that, I'm going to go to another layer on top of it, and I'm going to say healing brush. And I'm going to go to my healing brush tool. I'm going to tell it current layer and below, or turn off the reflection layer and say sample all layers. And now simply I'm going to option click and start to heal the area. And you can see now that I'm bringing back the texture. So I'm healing my clone that was a little harsh. Does that make sense? Yes. Option click or alt click? Yes. So you using Windows, you are alt clicking, and you can see here before and after, and then this is basically the clone. So what is the difference between the clone tool and the healing tool? The healing tool is going to heal the area. So let's look at the area that I have here that's not perfect. This is not really great. So I might go first to the clone and really go into maybe my polygonal lasso tool. And I'm going to go and mark this area because I don't want it to leak to the blue. And hold down the command key and close it. So I have the area that I'm selecting over here. And then I'm going to my clone tool. And then I'm going to option click. And I might do a harsh thing. But you see, it doesn't leak to the blue area. I'm option clicking. And I did too much over here. So I'm going to leave the selection, and then I'm going to go out to the other area. Then I'm jumping over to the healing. And then I'm going to go to the healing brush tool, option click, and look what I'm doing to my clone. So I'm healing the area because the clone tool will copy it exactly, and the healing is going to match it to the area. It's highly recommend also to kind of feather your selection a little bit so when you heal it, you don't have hard edges. So I'm going to go to select and then modify, and maybe I'm going to feather the selection maybe 10 pixels. And now option click, and I'm going to do some kind of healing. And I might do some other. If I deselect, not bad. Look at that. So now I have to go back here. And in this area, it's not dangerous anymore. Because what am I doing? I'm just doing the area. I'm going to be careful here. So see, I'm glad it happens because look what happened over here. Because the healing tool doesn't like abrupt colors, look what happened over here. I kind of smeared it a little bit. I'm not going to worry about it because I basically going to go in and maybe crop the image a little bit, or we're not going to deal with it. So I can continue in doing some other retouching with that. I can retouch the inside of the shirt. And then each time that I'm going to do something, I'm going to go in and name it and do something to it. But now what I want to do is maybe we're going to go to another tool. So I'm just going to go to another layer and I'm going to say healing brush tool. This is the one that I first retouch with because I go in and see if I have areas that I just have some imperfections. I don't have so many stuff here, but I'm going to go in and basically click and say sample all layers. So it's going to sample all layer and I'm just going to click on areas that I want to go and play with. So this area, I'm not going to do anything because you can see I can go back here and then you can see if I click on do stuff, it might not look so perfect. It's not that bad though. It's not looking that bad, but it's okay. Over here, I have to fix it a little bit, but you can see I'm going to go into the area. This area is really not great. I think I messed it up when I went to my brush. So I might go back here and go to white and see if I can go in and bring some stuff back. And you can see I'm bringing it back because I just did not a very good stuff. This area here, if I want to fix it a little bit, I probably going to go to the healing brush tool or the spot healing and then gonna go by, oops, I went to a wrong tool. Gonna go to the spot healing and try to clean the spot over here. So areas that are just as spots might work with it. So far, I didn't do any kind of generative AI. I'm just gonna go back here to the images and I'm going to go to the three retouched, Command G to group it. I'm going to select it and say Command G to group it. And I'm going to call that Retouch 1 or Phase 1. Now what I'm going to do is the reflection removal I don't want to do. This is the layers that I have here. I did the remove background. Let's say we want to go in and kind of fix her teeth. So I can select her teeth a little bit. I also can go in and to adjustment, but I'm going to show you another way of working. I'm going to go in to open a new layer and I'm going to call it light and dark. And I'm going to make the new layer. Oh, basically, there's an easier way to do it. I can do it this way, but I can go in from my layer menu bar and say new layer. For beginning, it's better here. You can say light and dark and say, go back here and click and make it either overlay or soft light and fill the layer with neutral 50% gray. And this is what you get over here. And then you want to go back here and basically clip it to the layer that you have all the way down here. So I'm just going to go back here to the layer. I already retouched some stuff, but I'm going to go just to the teeth and to the eyes. And I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to clip it just to the image. Option click on and off. Now I'm looking at the area over here. Maybe I want to go and make our eyes a little lighter. I can go to adjustment layers, but I also can go into my drawing tools. And you can see what you have. You have blur, sharpen, and smudge. You also have burn and dodge. I'm going to go into dodge. Let's say I'm going to decide how much exposure do I want to work with midtones and what is the size of the brush. And I'm just going to go to our eyes. And I'm going to go and click on her eyes. You don't think you have any changes, but if you click on before and after, do you see the change? Do you guys see the change? So depending, I might make the exposure a little bit more and it's going to be a lot lighter, maybe too much. I can also change the exposure and kind of make the brush a little smaller and maybe make her eyebrows a little lighter. Maybe, or maybe not. And before and after. If I don't want it to lighter, I can go in back, and if I turn off everything and unclip it, this is what I did on the gray layer. So if I don't like what I did to the eyebrows, I might go to a brush, hold down the Option key to sample the 50% gray, make the brush a little bit bigger, and basically go back here and eliminate the stuff that I did, or I can create a layer mask. And I'm going to Option click to clip it again, and look at this, before and after. Does that make sense? Do we want to make some stuff a little darker? Maybe I want to go in and create some other stuff. So I can go into the same area. And now I'm going to go to my exposure and I might go into the teeth. Not too much. Because if the teeth are too white, it's not going to look logical. You can duplicate the layer and make it in a different layer and look at the stuff that we have. Does that make sense? How are we doing? Let's take a few minutes break. I'm going to walk around and then I am going to see what you guys are doing. So I'm going to stop the recording for a few minutes. I'm going to walk around and help you. I'm going to pause the recording. Great. I got the okay from everybody to go back. And while you were working and I was walking around, I just turned it on and off. And what did I forget to do? Save. File and save as. So I'm going to go in and click on that. And then I'm going to save that as a Photoshop file. So I'm going to look here. It has a Photoshop. And it is going to be the same name, but with a PSD extension. Why? Because I have layers over here. So once again, I want to go in and look at some other stuff, right? So we can go in and have another background over here like before, or I can bring a background. In this case, I'm just going to go to my adjustment layer. We're not going to worry about it, and go all the way down and go to the gradient tool. And this is the default gradient that I have. I just went to the wrong place. So I'm just going to go to a different layer, gradient. And now this is the default gradient. I'm going to click inside and let's say what kind of gradient that I have. I'm going to look maybe into maybe the blues. Not bad. I'm checking it out. Look at the beautiful gradient that I have over here. Gives it a tint of pink over here. I kind of like it. This is a little too dark. I'm going to use this one or that one. Oh, okay. So I'm going to click OK and click OK, and I have a nice gradient over there. Another thing I can do is go back here and go to a pattern overlay. In this case, I'm going to go to my pattern panel, and then I'm going to go here, and I have just the original one over here, which I don't like any of them. So I'm going to cancel it out, and I'm going to go to my pattern panel. These are the default that come here, but maybe I want more. In the flyout menu, I'm going to go to Legacy, Patterns, and More. And here they are. And why? Because I know that in the 2019 or the legacy pattern, I do have artist surfaces that I really like or colored paper. So I'm going to go to artist surfaces and I'm going to click on a surface and click OK. So I'm going to click on that and then I'm going to get the surface over here. So now I'm going to go back here, click on that, and apply it to the area that you have. So I'm going to go again, new pattern. Now you can see everything. You click on the flyout menu, and here, look what I have over here. Oh, I did gradient by mistake, of course. I'm going to go patterns. It takes me to the original, but I'm going to go in to the one that I remember, the legacy ones from long time ago. I can do color paper, but I'm going to go back here, artist surface. And then in the artist surface, I'm going to select something. Maybe that, maybe this one. No, I don't like that. I kind of like this guy. And I'm going to select that. And now I'm going to go to my adjustment. And I'm going to go to overlay or soft light. And look what I get. I got the background with some kind of a texture. Can I just have the texture on top? Yes, because I have a mask that I can go in and reveal or conceal the stuff that I have. So I'm going to select the two fields. I'm going to group it. And I'm going to call it textured background. Everything is non-destructive right now, guys. You see, I can go in and continue doing it. I'm saving. I can make her lips darker a little bit. I can play a little bit with the hair. But if I kind of like this, that's going to be okay for me for now. But another thing that I can do is go all the way up to the top layer and go to some of my adjustments. So we have new adjustment now, says color and vibrance, clarity and dehaze, and grain. I'm going to go to clarity and dehaze, and then this is a new one. And now I'm going to go and click on the stuff. So look at that. I'm going to click on the clarity, not too much, because if I do too much, look what happened to the image. It kind of looks muddy. And then I'm going to go into the dehaze. If you go all the way down, it's very light. If I'm going to go back here, I've got some nice overall selection over here, and the image looks a lot better. If I don't want it all over the area, what does it mean? I'm going to click on the dehaze. And look at that. The face looks pretty good, but maybe the area of the body is not that great. So because it is on a layer mask here, I can go to my gradient tool. I can click inside and go to the basic gradient and tell it to go from black to white, and basically click and drag. And look at that. Depending how I did it over here, you can see some of the areas has the reflection and some not. On and off. I'm going to click and drag. Whenever I have black, I'm basically covering. Whenever I white, I'm revealing. On and off. And now my actually headshot maybe looks a little bit better over here. Again, also with the dehaze, I can go on top of that and go and make another adjustment. I can go all the way up and go and add some grain so it doesn't really look like it is digital. So I'm just going to go back here. You can do the size. You can see the roughness of the grain. And now if I zoom into it, you can see that it doesn't look as bad like it is so digital. And I'm saving. So this is one way of doing it. And what did we do so far? We went in and used the spot healing, the healing brush. We went in and removed the background. We did some adjustment layers. We didn't do anything that it is AI so far because I didn't have anything to do with AI. But I could do something with AI and maybe we'll do it with another image. I'm going to do File and Open. And I'm going to go to, let's say, this image here that says Girl PSD. And now let's say I'm going to do something a little bit different. If I had a picture of a shirt, I can go in and put another shirt there, but I don't have it. I can go in here and let's say everything else looked pretty good to me. I'm going to go back here and basically go in and select the object selection tool and select the shirt. And look what happened over here. It's kind of select almost everything. So I'm going to go to the lasso tool and then I'm going to go back here and subtract from the selection over here. And then I want to go in and change something for this shirt. Sometimes you don't have to do such a perfect selection. I can go into the remove tool and remove it. So now we have a new thing with the remove tool that we have. Or I can go into generative fill. And what do I want to go and do over here? So I'm going to click over here and I have different kind of AI modules. All the way down is partner modules. So you can go in. So if I'm going to go to Gemini 3, I can say to it what to do. But I want to go to the new one that says Firefly Fill and Expand. This is a new one released in January 2026. And now I can go back here. And while I'm using it, if I had another shirt, I can go in and actually bring another one and have another shirt. At the moment, I don't have another shirt. Maybe in a minute, I'm going to go in and bring a shirt and put it in there. But I'm going to go back here and then say, change the shirt to a yellow background with red flowers. And hopefully it's going to go in and bring the stuff that you have and change the shirt to the one that I have. And look at the one that I had. They probably did it kind of like in a really weird way. I don't know why. I'm just going to go back here. This is the shirt that I have here. End up doing something like that. Not that great, but it did something for me. And if I like it, I'm going to go in and say something else to it, but I'm going to go back here to the area that I have, and I'm going to generate it again. Maybe it's going to do a better pass on it because I don't want, no, I think I got kind of like, okay, so I have it here, and it did that. I'm going to go back here, and in this one, I'm going to go to my layers panel, and I'm just going to go in and select the area over here, kind of like roughly. And then I'm going to go back here and say leather jacket. And see if I'm getting a leather jacket, and it's not kind of precise over here. And look what I got over here. I didn't do it kind of precise. So I get 1 and 2 and 3. And I kind of like the new one that I got here. I just got a leather jacket over here. But if I had the layer jacket, I could have gotten a better kind of stuff over here because this leather jacket just came in with some kind of dots and everything on it. So it doesn't really, it's not really what I wanted. So what I'm going to do now, I should have had a leather jacket, but let's all go in to somewhere. I'm going to go into a new window and I'm going to say a dark leather jacket. I could have gone actually, and then I'm just going to go back here. Maybe I should have gotten something different. And look at this. This is the leather jacket. Oops. And I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to save it as an image. And then I'm going to go in and put it on my desktop. Hopefully it did take the image, but if it didn't do the image itself, I might even go in and do a screenshot. It's not really a great image that I have, but I'm going to go back here. I should have gone maybe to a leather jacket here, and then right click on it and save as, and then let's say if we did another one. And I'm going back to my image. And I'm going to my object selection tool. And in this case, I'm going to go to generative fill, make sure I'm on the new one, and I'm going to go back and set choose an image. And let's go into my jacket. While I have the jacket over here, it tells me, do you want the whole image or just the object? So if you have an object, you're basically getting just an object to the selection. And then you're going to say place it into the area or swap the selected area that you have. And you say generate. And let's say what we get. So the better images that you are going to prepare, it's basically the better things that you're going to get. Of course, I just went in there and look what happened to the leather jacket. It just did that, which is kind of like not exactly what I wanted, but I kind of like it. So he gave me another kind of leather jacket over here to the area that I have. So now I can go back here to an adjustment and maybe play with kind of hue and saturation. And then you can see over here the hue and saturation that I have, and it did it to the entire image. I'm going to colorize the leather jacket. And I'm going to clip it to the jacket itself. And look what you're getting now. Now I have the jacket. If I want to go in and do it with overlay, shift light, it's a little bit better. Multiply, oh, I like multiply. That's a nicer jacket that I have. And all of a sudden, you do have the same headshot with different kind of shirts or different kind of jacket that you can have. You can have it even with different colors and different background if you want to go in and select it. So you can do a lot of before and after to play with it. I still have the one over here, which I can use a leather jacket like that. Not bad. And of course, I have this little guy over here just to go back here and play with it. Does that make sense? So you're going to ask me, I mean, I can go back here and just play with the two of them and look at that and change the colors and everything that I have. Does that make sense so far? Yes. So go ahead and go to some of your jackets or the background or the hair. And with the tools that we did, let's go in and figure something. And while you're doing it, I will go into my background again. And in this time, I'm going to go to filter and I can go back to camera raw. And this is a camera raw filter that I have. So I can do a lot of my exposure over here directly on a camera raw filter. If I want to go back here and change the stuff and click OK. So now you can see that I went back here. I know, you know what I should have done. I should have make it, don't want to do it. I should have gone first to filter and convert to smart filter. I forgot to do that, of course. And then I'm going to go back here to camera raw filter because I want to see the before and after. And then if I click OK, now you can see that you have a filter and you played with it and you have the before and after. Can I go back here and start retouching some of the eyes? Of course I can. Can I go in and retouch some blemishes? Of course I can. But I want to go back to something that we didn't do yet. So I'm going to go in because I have to go back here. There's some blemishes here. This is going to be actually the healing spot tool, but I want to go into the smart filter and go into filter and then liquefy. So when you go to liquefy, is basically you can see the image that you have over here. And then it's going to recognize the face. And this is the place that I want to go. So do I want to go into our eyes and make our eyes a little bit wider or smaller? You see, I'm going to exaggerate a little bit. I can go to the height of the eyes if I want to do it. I can go to tilt the eyes and the distance. Don't want to change that. But I go to the nose. The nose I like it, but the width I like it too. I'm not going to change. But I want to give her a bigger smile. And I want to go and play a little bit with the upper lips. And then I make it a little bit with the lower lips. And then I'm going to look at the shape of the face. That's everything is okay. Can I do more cheekbones? Of course I can. Can I go the jawline a little bit? And then I can do preview before and after. And I did it really mild because you don't want to change the look of the person. I exaggerated over here a little bit because she looked a little bit different right now. But again, if this is something that you wanted to do, now you have it. Does that make sense? And I went in, and if I don't like it, I'm going to go into liquefy again. And I'm going to go to a smile, and I'm just going to go back here and not going to do the smile. And not going to do the smile. And I'm going to click OK. And now here she is the way she was before. I just changed a little bit the eyes, if you see, and my nude changes, and she looks a lot better. I can go in and make her eyes a lot lighter right now. What else can I do here? Because I want to show you the other tools that we have. If I don't want everything to stay in, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to filter, and I have something called neural filters. This is not going to work great for this one so much because her face is pretty okay. But if I click here and smooth skin smoothing, I can smooth her skin a little bit. And I'm going to exaggerate. And now you can see over here, look at her skin. In this case, I'm not crazy about it. Why? It is too smooth over here. She kind of looks a little bit that she has some kind of China kind of skin. So I might go back here and say, maybe I want to go in to add some grain. and then add some grain to the area. Not too much, but you see, not big grain, a little bit, and not so rough. And now it looks a lot better at the moment because I have her. And of course, I need to retouch still the area with the eyes and everything. So this is when you start working with a brush and other stuff. And of course, if you wanted to do a beauty retouching with a skin, you probably need to do a frequency separation. And that's another kind of topic that we might get into it another time. And this is the video that I left you the link for it to look at the end of the presentation so that you can see that. But I kind of wanted to include some kind of all the filters that we have over here. And you can see I added grain over here, on and off. I have like the neural filters, I have the liquify on and off. So you can go and bring it on and off at any time. And you have the camera raw filter if you don't want it. You can go back here and look at this without and with. So it will go in and look the same that you have. So shall we go in and maybe do other stuff with her? Yes, we can go in and do what we did in the other one, or we can do some kind of a local change. Maybe we're going to do on another brush. So I'm going to go in and say this is halftone over here, generative AI over here that we have for the stuff. And then I'm just going to go and group. I like to group the areas that I played with. And then if I hold down the shift key, I select that and I group it. And I'm going to call it extra retouch. Or maybe you're going to say exactly what you did, on and off, on and off. So if I have it on over here, I'm going to go back here and click and create maybe a new layer again. So all the way in the option, I'm going to say new layer, and I'm going to make that into overlay and fill it with 50% gray, lighten or darker. Isn't it fun? Are you guys having fun? I can see everybody, nobody's paying attention to me. I know. It's fun and it's your images. So in this case, I'd love you to look at your images and use your images at any time. So I'm going to click OK. So now I can go into my dodge tool. So you can see on and off. I didn't do a good job because my brush is a little bit too big, but I can also go back to this area. I'm making her eyes a little lighter. And I'm going to go in, the teeth are not there, that's okay. But maybe I'm going to go in and make a hair a little bit lighter over here. Just give it a little tint. And zoom in and look at that. So this is more of an actor maybe headshot. And you know what? That could be also a LinkedIn one if you have that. If I have it to do it to LinkedIn, I'm probably going to cut it a little bit. So what would I do? I'm going to save that. And now I'm going to go back here and then go to the girl over here and say image and duplicate. I'm going to duplicate the image and I'm going to call it LinkedIn. And when I'm doing it now, I'm just going to go double click on the smart object and try to go back here and make it a little smaller. I'm like clicking it and saving it and going back to LinkedIn. And then click here, and now you can see I have the area over here, and I have the LinkedIn area that I have, and then I can go back here and make sure I am not with the aspect ratio, because I want to go and click on that and do that. And now I have kind of like the LinkedIn over here. Because it's a smart object, it doesn't let you kind of like go back here and crop it. So I'm going to go back here and then double click on the smart object and click OK and go back to the area that I have. And in this case, I basically can go back here and try to kind of like go back here and, oops, what did I do? Over here, zoom out and look at this. So now this is my LinkedIn. It is a lot smaller. Doesn't have kind of the lower stuff that you have and kind of looks a little bit better. But look what happened over here in the area that I have here. I made a mistake here because what happened is I should have done this one a little bit before, because you see over here, it's not matching kind of like the area that I have, but I fixed it. And now zoom in and look at the eyes, on and off and on and off. And this one is my LinkedIn. I can see that I have a little mistake over here because this is the other image, because it was kind of like a smart object, and that's why. So a lot of time, if you want to crop something, you just want to go in and get out of the smart object that you have and maybe fix it a little bit. And then go back here and just play with the stuff that you have. And then you can see here with my mask, I'm fixing the stuff that I have. Oh, I didn't see that I have something here. So that's not good. Okay, I messed up completely. And the extra retouch is actually not aligning, which I'm glad it happened, because I'm going to align it. And why did it happen? Because I had a smart object and it didn't want to crop it. So I'm just going to go back here and have the smart object over here. And then I'm going to try to mask it if I can. Okay. And this area, this is the area that actually is there for you, because I kind of made a little mistake with playing with the stuff that I have. I'm going to turn it off. And I can see if I can do something here. I'm going to go to the original image. And then I'm going to go back here and remove and see if it's going to go in and remove it. It might not do it, but you have to be careful. And I'm glad I had this mistake right now. Yay! I'm all good. See that? Now we're all good. And I'm saving my file because I removed it. And then I'm going to go and I say LinkedIn. I'm going to go back here to the retouch. And I'm saving the LinkedIn that I have. So really what we did today, to sum it up, I'm going to walk around and look at your headshots that you did. And if you need extra help, do not hesitate to contact me. You have my information in the main presentation that I gave you. But really, we looked at the retouching tool. We maybe even didn't do all of them. We didn't even do the patch tool, but we did the spot healing, the remove tool, the healing brush tool. We didn't play so much with brushes, but we did look at the clone stamp tool. We did look at dodge and burn to make stuff a little darker. We did look at some AI stuff to exchange and change the closing and everything. And we played with the new AI tool that we have. So once again, I'm going to jump in to I want to save the file and you can continue working, but I'm going to jump again to my presentation. And then I'm going to show you, this is how you can follow me on Behance. You can also go in, follow me on LinkedIn and be in touch. In the end of the presentation, I have all the tools that you can go and play with. And then you have all the links over here, including the file that I use. And absolutely, I'm going to stay for a minute here. So when you look at the recording, you can go in and see the sample files if you want to download them. And I'm going to go back here. You can absolutely follow me on Behance. This is my Behance page over here. And then I have the area that says live stream. And in the live stream, I have a lot more videos about different kind of techniques and stuff that you do in Photoshop. I don't have there the latest stuff. That's going to be in my YouTube channel because I stopped live streaming probably a year ago and it is what it is. But you can follow me here. You can go in at my work, see my work. You can see the stuff. And thank you very much for coming, you guys. I'm going to stay here with you. We are going to continue working a little bit, but I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you for coming.